Today, we're diving inside the sleeping brain to uncover the science behind the moment you'll never remember. Is your brain deleting the memory? Or was it never recorded in the first place? It's one of the greatest mysteries of the human mind. How can something happen every single night, yet leave no memory behind? Hours later, you wake up. You remember lying in bed. You remember feeling sleepy. But one moment is missing forever. The exact second you fell asleep, you climb into bed. Close your eyes. Maybe you're thinking about tomorrow, or replaying today's memories. Then, everything disappears. Every single night, something incredible happens inside your brain, yet almost nobody remembers it. You might think falling asleep happens in an instant, but your brain tells a completely different story. Sleep isn't an on and off switch. It's a slow transition between two worlds. As you lie quietly in bed, billions of neurons begin changing the way they communicate. Your breathing becomes slower. Your muscles start to relax. Your heart beats more gently. Meanwhile, inside your brain, electrical activity begins to shift. Scientists measure these changes using an EEG, a machine that records the tiny electrical signals produced by your brain. When you're fully awake, your brain is dominated by fast beta waves, helping you think, focus, and process the world around you. As you become relaxed, these fast waves begin to slow into alpha waves. Your thoughts become less organized. Reality starts to fade. Then comes the first stage of sleep, known as N1. This stage lasts only a few minutes, yet it's one of the most mysterious moments in human consciousness. You're no longer fully awake, but you're not deeply asleep either. It's during this brief transition that your brain quietly begins disconnecting from the outside world. So if your brain is still active, why doesn't it remember the exact moment you fall asleep? The answer begins with one small but extraordinary part of your brain: the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as your brain's memory recorder. Every conversation, every face, every new experience passes through this tiny structure before it becomes a long-term memory. But creating memories isn't automatic. Your brain has to pay attention. It has to organize information. And it needs enough conscious awareness to store what you're experiencing. As sleep approaches, that process begins to slow down. Your attention fades. Your awareness becomes fragmented. And the hippocampus gradually becomes less effective at recording new experiences. It's almost like a camera losing focus before the shutter clicks. The world around you doesn't disappear, but your brain quietly stops saving it. That's why you remember lying in bed. Yet the final moments before sleep simply vanish. They were never fully stored as memories, and without a recorded memory, there's nothing to remember the next morning. But this still doesn't explain why your brain completely disconnects from reality. To understand that, we need to enter the first stage of sleep. Imagine standing at the edge of two completely different worlds. One is reality, the other is sleep. Every night, your brain quietly crosses that invisible border. But unlike crossing a doorway, you never notice the exact moment it happens. As you drift deeper into stage N1 sleep, your senses begin disconnecting from the outside world. Sounds become distant. Light fades into darkness. Even the feeling of your body resting on the bed slowly disappears. Inside your brain, millions of neurons change the way they communicate. The fast beta waves that kept you alert have almost completely vanished. Slower theta waves now take over. These brain waves are a sign that consciousness is beginning to fade. You're still alive. Your brain is still active, but your awareness of the world is slipping away. This is why people sometimes experience strange sensations just before sleep. You may feel like you're falling, floating, or suddenly jerk awake. Scientists call these sudden muscle contractions hypnic jerks. They are completely normal and happen to millions of people. But something even more fascinating is happening behind the scenes. The networks responsible for building continuous memories are becoming less active. Instead of recording every passing second, your brain begins skipping pieces of reality. It's almost like a movie with missing frames. And eventually, the final frame before sleep is never saved at all. At this point, your brain has almost completely disconnected from the outside world. But something extraordinary is about to happen. Instead of shutting down, your brain begins creating an entirely new reality. This is where dreams begin. Sleep isn't one long, continuous state. It's a journey through different stages. Scientists divide sleep into 4 main stages: Stage N1, Stage N2, Stage N3, and finally, REM sleep. During N2, your brain becomes even less aware of the outside world. Special bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles appear. Researchers believe these bursts help strengthen important memories while filtering out unnecessary information. Then comes N3, often called deep sleep. Your body repairs muscles, strengthens the immune system, and restores energy for the next day. But the most mysterious stage is still ahead: REM sleep. During REM, your eyes move rapidly beneath your eyelids. Your brain becomes almost as active as it is when you're awake. Yet your body remains almost completely paralyzed. This prevents you from acting out your dreams. It's here that your brain creates vivid stories, strange worlds, familiar faces, and memories that often disappear within minutes of waking up. Ironically, even though your brain is incredibly active during dreams, it still isn't recording every moment the same way it does when you're awake. Yet there's one final mystery. If your brain can create dreams this vivid, why do most of them disappear only minutes after you wake up? The answer reveals one of the biggest limitations of human memory. You've probably experienced it before. You wake up after an incredibly vivid dream. Every detail feels crystal clear. The people, the places, the emotions, it all feels real. But just a few minutes later, it's gone. No matter how hard you try, you can't bring it back. So why does this happen? Scientists believe the answer lies in the chemistry of your brain during REM sleep. While you're dreaming, certain brain chemicals, especially norepinephrine, which help support attention and memory, are present at much lower levels than when you're awake. At the same time, the hippocampus, the brain region that helps convert experiences into long-term memories, doesn't appear to store dream experiences as effectively as it does during normal wakefulness. That means your brain may create an incredibly detailed dream without fully saving it. When you wake up, you might remember fragments for a few moments, but unless you actively rehearse or write them down, those fragile memories quickly fade. Researchers are still investigating exactly why dreams are forgotten so easily. But one thing is clear: your sleeping brain follows different memory rules than your waking brain. In other words, dreams are experiences your mind creates. But they aren't always experiences your memory keeps. But dreaming isn't the only strange thing your brain does while you sleep. There are even stranger experiences, like waking up unable to move, or realizing you're dreaming while the dream is still happening. Just when you think sleep couldn't get any stranger, your brain surprises you once again. Have you ever woken up, completely unable to move? Your eyes are open, you're aware of your surroundings, but your body refuses to respond. This frightening experience is known as sleep paralysis. It happens when your brain wakes up before your body's temporary muscle paralysis has fully ended. During REM sleep, this paralysis is completely normal. It prevents you from acting out your dreams. But if your mind wakes first, you may briefly feel trapped inside your own body. Another remarkable phenomenon is lucid dreaming. This is when you suddenly realize you're dreaming. Some people can even influence the dream itself, flying through the sky, exploring impossible worlds, or speaking to people who exist only in their imagination. Scientists are still studying why lucid dreams happen, but brain scans suggest that parts of the brain involved in self-awareness become more active than in ordinary dreams. And then there's one final mystery: the sudden sensation of falling, followed by a powerful jerk that instantly wakes you up. This is called a hypnic jerk. It's a common experience and, in most cases, completely harmless. Every night, your brain performs incredible feats that most of us never even notice. Sleep isn't simply rest. It's one of the most complex biological processes in the human body. So if your brain can disconnect from reality, create entire worlds, and even paralyze your body while you sleep, what does all of this tell us about consciousness itself? The answer brings us back to the mystery we started with. Every night, without even realizing it, you experience one of the most extraordinary transformations in nature. Your senses slowly fade. Your awareness begins to disappear. Your memories stop recording. And your brain quietly enters a world unlike anything you experience while awake. The reason you can't remember the exact moment you fell asleep isn't because you forgot it. It's because your brain never fully stored that moment in the first place. By the time sleep takes over, the systems responsible for forming continuous memories are already changing. What feels like an instant is actually a carefully orchestrated biological process involving billions of neurons working together. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part of all. Every single night, your brain performs one of the greatest feats in biology, completely unnoticed. So tonight, as you close your eyes, ask yourself one question: where does consciousness truly end? And where does sleep begin? The answer may be far more mysterious than we ever imagined. If you enjoyed uncovering the science behind the human mind, subscribe to Mind Uncovered, because every week we'll explore another mystery hidden inside your brain. The greatest mysteries aren't found in space. They're hidden inside your own mind.